blastmusic247.com. We're changing the industry one artist at a time.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to According to Courtney. If it's your first time here, welcome. I'm Courtney West. I'm a full spectrum doula, childbirth educator, and all-around birth nerd. Today, welcome to According to Courtney. In this space, we talk about everything from filling our cup, birth rights, life rights, and everything in between. Today, I am super excited to have the guest that I'm having today. Do you ever feel like you have intuition? Or you feel something in your spirit that just try to guide you, say, maybe I shouldn't go that way, or maybe I should move in this way, and you don't really listen to it? My guest today, she's going to tell us all about why having intuition and what that means, and how does that lay the groundwork for us, and how that we should start listening to it. All right, I'm super excited to go ahead and bring Ms. Myra into the space with us today.
Hello.
Miss Myra, I'm so excited to have you here in space with us today.
Thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. So here on According to Courtney, I always open it up with the same questions for every guest. I always love for people to share what is your name and the meaning of your name, where are you from and your people are from, and what information out of everything we talk about today that you want to leave in space for people to remember about you.
Well, I don't know the exact, origin of my name, but I am a junior. My mom's name is Myra. So there's that. That's how I got my name. She goes by her middle name, so as not to confuse people, but that's where my name comes from. My family is mainly from South Carolina here and also West Virginia. So it's a very eclectic mix of people from both sides of the family. And I think if nobody picks up on anything else, Courtney, from us sharing space today, I would want it to be for them to trust their inner voice and trust their intuition, because it'll never guide you wrong.
Ooh, that is so powerful on so many levels. And I love that you are a junior, because that says a lot about your mom, too. She's like, hold on, this one right here, this is my namesake.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And also even down to our nicknames. She's Big Tootie and I'm Little Tootie. So she's carried it. My family's carried it.
That's so nice. That is amazing. So people read on there, they saw it's called Intuitive Myra. So as your title, I would love, Miss Myra, for you to share our story. And how did you get to that title of being Miss Intuitive Myra?
Well, it's a funny story, kinda. When I was born, I'll take it back real quick. When I was born, my grandmother, Gladys, from West Virginia, she had told my parents that I was born with a veil over my face. And so for those of you who don't know what that means, it means not literally like skin or anything, but a veil is more so a spiritual covering. And it's the old people say that when you're born with a veil over your face, you'll have certain gifts, intuition, be a seer, just whatever gifts it is that God gives to you. And so she told my parents that, and they was like, yeah, okay, whatever, mama, like, okay. And so when I was like 3 or 4, I started seeing spirits, people from my family that I didn't know, just different things like that. So in that moment, there was like, okay, it might be something to this. But being raised in church, it wasn't anything that I fed into, because, you know, sometimes in church we're taught that it's evil. And so I really, really went through what I now realize was an identity crisis of sorts, because I wasn't really being my complete true self. But I didn't want to be in the spotlight. You know, thankfully we didn't have social media and stuff back then, because I'm a 70s and 80s baby, so we didn't have to worry about all of that. But you still didn't want to be an outcast. You still didn't want to be different, you know? And so I never really talked to my grandmother too much about it or got more information about it. But I would still utilize it sometimes, like know things, or like my boyfriend that I was dating at the time, I would tell him, okay, if I ask you a question, tell me the truth. And he was like whatever. And then when I would call him out on it, you know, I didn't have no Facebook to check up on anything or look up somebody or whatever, but I would call him out each and every time. I could pull up to where he was, and he was just like, where'd they do that at? You know, it's 1988. How you doing this? But I did. And so still for the longest time, I didn't embrace it. And then fast forward to 2017, I had a breast cancer scare. Thankfully, I was fine, no cancer, whatever, but I did have 4 masses in my right breast. And in that moment, I trusted God, and I appreciated the prayers and everything that I had from my family and my church family and just everybody that knew about it. But I also knew that I had to kind of get by myself. And when I got by myself, and I was praying and speaking affirmations of healing and stuff over my body, things kind of started shifting a little bit. But even in that time, I didn't really understand what it was about. But within a week's time of them diagnosing me with those masses, 3 of the masses had disappeared, and I only had 1 left. And so my friend and I, we were celebrating, and the doctor was like, well, wait a minute, you still have that 1 left. But I said, no, last week I had 4. This week I have 1. So there's something to celebrate. Absolutely. And so I asked him about the stage and stuff, and he said, well, it would be stage 1. I said, oh, well, I can beat that. So went through all of that. And at the end of it, I was different. I can't really explain to you what it was. I was different, but I felt more comfortable being me, if that makes sense. Yes. I felt more comfortable being my true, authentic self and not really caring, because I was like, okay, you know, I have this gift. People say that it's demonic or whatever it is you want to say, but God literally during that time frame, Courtney, when I was going through healing and, you know, just praying and seeing what the next steps were, he was literally preparing me, and I didn't even realize it, because after I had made it through that, and you know, they cleared me, I had my biopsy and everything was good, it was like the bandage was ripped off of my third eye, and I saw things so different, and the colors were vivid, and my feelings and my emotions, it was just different, girl. That's the only way that I could explain it. And so I just kind of had to step into my truth, and I was just telling everybody, you're pregnant, this, that, and other. And my friend was like, wait, you're giving away too much energy, we got to roll this back in. And so when I did, she said, you need to come up with some kind of way to be in control of it, you know, because you're giving too much of yourself away. And I was like, well, I don't want to charge anybody, you know, blah, blah. She said, why not? Why not? That part. You can't keep giving yourself away for free. And so intuitive Myra, Myra was easy. And then, you know, intuitive Myra just kind of came to me and it stuck. And so that's me, intuitive Myra.
You said so much, and I just want to give you your flowers with that. I know for a lot of times I see in the Black community when it comes to this, and this is no pushback against church or anything like that, but I see a lot of times when someone being from the South, hearing someone being born with the veil over their eyes, it's not common, but you'll hear it, and you'll be like, okay, all right. What does that look like? How's it being in church and having to really move through that? How did that affect you?
Well, because I wasn't really trying to tap into it, I wasn't affected by it. Even when sometimes it would show up, without me even trying to tap into it. I wasn't affected by it because honestly, at that time, it wasn't anything that I was claiming, because I'm in church. So I'm not claiming it. We go to church, what I
Right.
mean? And so it wasn't anything that I was even considering. But when that happened in 2017 with me, it was almost like God didn't give me a choice. It was almost like he was saying, okay, you ready to be able to step into the light and accept your full self. And I'm going to tell you, a lot of people may not realize, but for me, for even, some of my family or whatever, my mom, people was asking my mom questions about it. Like, we've known her all her life. Like, where did this come from? I think they thought that I was literally just pulling it out of the air. And so I used to feel like I always have to give a spiel and have to explain this or whatever. And God was like, you don't have to explain nothing. Nobody knows the conversation you and I had. So don't worry about it. And at that point, I was like, you know what? It is well. It is well with my soul, just like the song that we learn in church. And people think that spirituality, when you're spiritual, is absent from God. And it's not.
Yes.
It's just an expansion. To me, it's just an expansion. And in that moment, when you're sick or you think that you have this disease or whatever it is, it's just me and God. I appreciate my pastor. I appreciate my church, but I needed to be able to go straight to God directly and commune. And in that moment, when I was able to do that, I saw so many things. It wasn't just God. I felt my ancestors' presence. I felt just all of the love and covering that I wasn't feeling before. Did I know about my ancestors? Yes. But I felt like in that moment, my heart was open. I felt like a small child. With children, there's no racism. They just play with each other. Their mind is open and everything. And that's how I felt. My heart and my mind was just open to whatever. The sky was the limit for me. And I stepped into it.
Oh, I love that. And Sunshine, I saw that. Yes, that's the expansion. And I want to talk on something that you brought up when you were able to feel your ancestors, because I feel like people get very misconstrued with spirituality and Christianity about talking to your ancestors. I always find it very interesting. People like, that's so demonic. And I'm like, how is it the people that love you the most, who have been through life, what makes you think they wouldn't transition over when they transition over, that they still wouldn't be with you?
That part.
And then that this is not new. So think about your grandmother or your grandfather who kept everyone's obituaries and would line them up and light candles to them and say, remember this person, because with your ancestors, they never die when you remember them. So why then with people, they get very uncomfortable? Because I've had this conversation many times with people. I say, well, lean into your ancestors. That's demonic. I got to lean into God. Well, you are leaning into God, because then God make your ancestors, and when your ancestors, how I break it to people, it's like, those are your angels. When those are the best angels for you, because they know you and they love you and they covered you. What makes them not cover you now? And even
there's
more
no difference.
Right.
Yeah, there's no difference. And what's funny about that for me is because my family is in the funeral home business. So death has never been anything to us that was weird, that was spooky. Like, our grandparents lived upstairs in a funeral home, like that was their home, and we would spend the night and play and all of that stuff. So that's never been spooky to me. And as far as like honoring my ancestors, I always wanted to know where I came from. Where did this nose come from? Where did my eyes come from? That kind of thing. But I didn't really formally like talk to them or even really celebrate them, other than the celebration that you do when you have a funeral service or something like that. So reconnecting with them and like totally reconnecting with them. And when I tell you, don't let nobody tell you that it's something that's evil or demonic. It's the most beautiful thing for me personally. I can't speak for everybody, but for me personally, especially because, my grandparents are gone. I don't have any grandparents that are alive. My dad is gone. And that was the main ancestor that I really, really wanted to connect with, because I grieved for him for so long. when he passed away, because his death was sudden. And so there was no closure to it. And even during that time, I remember after my dad died, you've experienced grief from other people passing away.
Right.
But Courtney, when I tell you, when he died, the grief was to a point that I had never experienced, to the point that I had told my mom, and I can say this openly. I said, I think I need to go get help. Like, I think I need to check out for a little bit, because my life just ain't lifing right now.
Right.
And she said, no, Tootie, you're fine. You're just grieving. It's your dad. You're grieving differently over him. But when I tell you, like, a piece of my heart was gone, and I didn't know how to fill that space. And I was lucky to be one of those children that had equal relationships with their parents. It wasn't one favorited over the other one. And I was a daddy's girl. It was like God, and then it was like Levon, and you couldn't tell me nothing different. So when he passed away, it was really, really hard. But he is the first interaction that I had with my ancestors as an adult, because I closed off my mind so long that I didn't really have interactions like I did when I was little. So he was the first one. Now, he will not allow me to see him, but I feel him, I smell him. And the first time that I smelled his cologne, that was when I told my mom, okay, you need to check me in somewhere. You need to check me in. Because I smelled daddy's cologne. And I was like, do you not smell it? And she was like, no. I said, yeah, you need to check me in. And so that's kind of where the door opened. But still, I didn't know what it meant to truly honor him. That was just my dad. But now that, I honor everybody, I talk to them, I trust in them, I call on them, even when I say my prayers, I pray for them. And it's just a beautiful thing, because I'm sitting here with you right now as one person, but there's 1,000 behind me, and to know and feel that strength is what gets me through, period. Period.
I love that. I saw Sunshine's comment that when death comes, she's the go-to person. And in my family too, death was always part of our lives. Our family, part of us, ran a funeral homes. So we went to more funerals than we ever went to marriages. And we have our own cemetery plot out in Gainesville. And so it was very normal when you come into town to go pay homage, go see Big Daddy, go see Big Mama, go do these things. And even when my grandmother, the first time really moving to my spirituality was in 2020 when my grandmother passed. She had COVID, and she was my world. She raised me and gave me the tools that I am now to be the birth worker I am. It came from my grandmother. So when she passed, I felt the vibration change. And it was interesting you mentioned smell. My cousins all came to the house after she died, because I was living in her house when she passed. And we all knew when she transitioned. I got a phone call at 6:36, and I sat right up and I had lit a candle for her, and the candle was out. And then I called my cousin and my other cousin, and we all woke up at 6:36, and we knew she was gone. We knew that was her transition time. But it is to have that realization of, no, this is really real, and this whole person be here. And then having all my cousins come to the house, and we all smelt her at the same time. It was like, and we all just everyone's hands start shaking, like, wait a minute, you smelt that? You moving around, and they're like asking, did you pour perfume? I said, no, she's sitting in the spaces together. And it's just to know that love is real, and that relationship is very different. Because I've had lots of people die around me, but when she passed was the first time that the grief was so real that I remember it rained for 7 days every day. It poured and rained and poured and rained. And I was just like, this can't be life. But it took, then you could really listen and be like, no, I'm opening something for you so that you can understand that this is what it is. I felt like honoring my ancestors and leaning into that was my way to be able to grieve.
It helps with your grief.
Yes. To be able to move forward and do things. Went outside, started planting sweet potatoes and collard greens and doing things that I had never done before. Because I was just like, I got to deal with this grief. But I would listen intuitively, like, okay, where you go now? How do you move? And that is how really the birth of me getting my momentum in birth work, really kicked off. I was doing it, but it took her passing for me to be like, okay, full throttle, let's go. We in it, because it's listening to intuition. And I really want to sit and talk with that with you. It's like, people are so afraid to lead it to their intuition, but they also don't know what it looks like. So could you tell some people, what are you really looking at? What are you really seeing? What do you notice to see?
And my clients ask me that all the time. They ask me, well, what does spirit sound like to you? Sometimes it sounds like me. Sometimes it sounds like my grandmother. I give my grandmother Gladys a lot of credit because she's the one that recognized the gift and covering in me. And so a lot of times I think spirit shows up as her, or like when different things come up during my client session or whatever, I say, yeah, I know that's Gladys. But it sounds like peace. It sounds like knowledge. It's different to everybody. You know, the voice is very androgynous. I can't say that it's a female's voice. I can't say that it's a male's voice, but it's just peace. It's just something that you know. And mine is so strong now that it will not stop until I do what it is that it's telling me to do. If we're sitting here right now and it's saying you need to go open up the front door, I'd be like, wait a minute, Courtney, wait 1 second. I'll be right back. Let me go open up this front door. And some people would think that that's crazy, you know, even to the point as one night it's 10 something at night. And I'm like, I got to get up and vacuum, you know, like where they do that at 10 o'clock at night? You can do it. But I trust my intuition so much. And I think the reason why that's the case is I've seen what happens when I do, even with my finances, even with health, even with friendships or whatever the case may be. So I'm very, very in tune, and I listen and I do it. No matter how crazy, if you drive past my house and you see me and my dog outside in my driveway laying in the rain, just keep going. We good. You know, whatever it tells me to do, I do, because it never leads me wrong. Never.
Oh, I love that. And Miss Myra, we have a comment here from Miss Sophia. She's saying she loves this conversation. Myra, what are your thoughts on numbers? After my older sister passed, I constantly see the number 44, which is how old she was when she died.
I do believe in angel numbers. I do believe that sometimes those are your spirit guides kind of giving you a nod. And it's funny because when that happens, pay attention to it. A lot of times it's such little small subtle things like that that could slip by us that we don't even realize that they're trying to connect. 44 is a number of growth. 44 is a number of intuition. 44 is a number of hope, you know. So I think that for you to start seeing those numbers was her letting you know that not only is she okay, but she wants you to be okay too, you know. And like I said, it's little small things. Sometimes it's numbers. Sometimes you might hear a song, you know. Sometimes you might see a red cardinal, because in the South, you know, they say you see a red cardinal, then that's somebody that's passed away that comes to visit you, you know. That's what I've been told my whole life. So there's a lot of different signs and symbols that you hear that you just need to pay attention to. And sometimes that'll be what my session's about. My clients, I see 222, I see 333, you know, and it's just all about the numbers, and that's breaking it down and what it means. And what you have to realize, honey, is it means something different to everybody. So it has a general meaning of like enlightenment or whatever the meaning is. But then it allows you to kind of focus on yourself to say, okay, well, how is that connected to me? You know what I mean? Yes. But yeah, so definitely pay attention to it. And if you have any questions or whatever about it, you can feel free to reach out to me and we can talk about it, because I will talk to people. That's another thing that about me is that I don't charge everybody for everything. I listen to spirit. I listen to God. Sometimes God is like, just do it, you know, just do it. You know, everything is not about a charge, but you know, I do need to live because this is what I'm doing full time. So I still need to find that happy medium, but I don't have a problem asking questions. I don't have a problem holding space and having conversations, as long as you're not trying to take advantage of my kindness, because you know, they will do that as well. So definitely.
Ooh, Sophia, Mercy. The meaning of her name is hope. That's beautiful, Sophia. So see, look at you, Miss Myra. You just like you giving everybody the chills right now in all the best ways. I've had 2 addresses since moving to Charlotte, 3117, and now 5 years later is 1317. I have a cardinal and 2 blue jays around all 5 years. People are just pouring into what they are seeing, and they just, Miss Myra, you hitting those notes. And it's interesting when you bring up numbers. Like I had said to you, my grandmother had passed away at 636. My youngest daughter, who's born on the same day as her, was born at 636. So anytime those numbers come up, I always know. I said, okay, all right, we in that transformation. It's that full moment. My aunt, when she passed away, she took her last breath at 636. And I was like, okay, and it was my grandmother's younger sister. So I always, when I see those numbers come up, I'm always like, it's the birth or the end. The birth of the end. What we doing? How we moving?
Something is working. Something is working. And for the last lady, she was talking about her address and stuff when she moved. The way that I'm receiving it was just a reminder to you, honey, that you're on the right path. I think that there was a lot of hesitation or something around the whole movement process, but those numbers was just your reassurance and letting you know that you were on the right path, even though it didn't look like the move was something for the better. But I feel like that it was just letting you know that it was okay and that you were on the right path for both moves. When you moved to the first place and to the second place, it was time. So don't question the timing, because it was right.
Oof. Yes, I love that. I love that. And I love how you just you feel it and you just moves through you. And I love for you to kind of tap into that for people. How do you allow it to move through you? How do people get comfortable letting spirit just move through you? Because I know for myself, when intuition came when I was a child, I learned to bury it. Certain things to certain people, I would say. My grandmother, I'd be like, Mommy, a baby's coming soon into our family. We should get ready for it. Or, Mommy, someone's going to pass away soon. We should be ready for that. And then her telling me, you can't tell everybody those things. Those things you need to keep to yourself. You can tell Mama these things, but do not go to people and lay hands on them and tell them things, because everybody ain't prepared for what you got. And it took me grown to be able to be like, are you comfortable? Are you good with the download? I'm called to tell you something, but I ain't trying to step on your toes if you ain't trying to hear it.
Well, definitely with my close friends, like my girlfriends, it's a lot easier with them, because I can be like, hey, I gotta tell you something. And they be like, okay, what is it? Either like with my one friend with her sons. And I really, really love my relationship that I have with her sons. And I'm like, tell so-and-so, blah, 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 watch out about this or whatever. So with my girlfriends, it's easy. With my clients, it's easy. I think, honestly, honey, the reason why it's easy for me is because I've always in my career been in a position of case management, social work, that kind of thing.
Okay.
And so people sit down and tell me stuff, just even in that capacity. And I would be sitting at my desk thinking, why are you telling me this? Like they'd be putting it all out there. And so I think it's just something with my spirit, because when I tell you, I can be at the bank, I can be anywhere. And I mean, I'm open, so I talk to anybody. I don't meet no strangers. But honey, some of the stuff that they tell me. So when it comes down to sessions and stuff like that, spirit will let me know, okay, tell Courtney this, but you might have to rephrase it like this. Some people I can just be blunt and be like, look, you need to leave. and some people I have to kind of build up to it. I have to kind of go around the block a little bit and up the street and then bring it on home. So my discernment kind of gives me everything that I need. And before each session, I pray. Mm-hmm. And my prayer is, God, let me give my client Courtney whatever it is she's meant to hear and whatever it is she needs. So, and my clients know that. They know that, I pray, because when you schedule an appointment, in the messages, it says, make sure that you pray and ask God or the universe or whatever you believe in, that you get what it is that you need. I don't call myself a psychic, and I don't call myself a medium or anything like that, because I know that everything that I do comes from God. So to me, I don't like labels, because one moment I can have some psychic abilities. I like to call it the gift of knowing, and then sometimes, depending on what a client needs, I can become a medium. And it's just really weird how you just kind of flow through. So that's I think the reason why my clients are open to me, because what you see is what you get. I'm not all about money. I'm not like, okay, your 30 minutes are up, so that's it. Because sometimes we get into stuff and it takes another 15 minutes or it takes another 20 minutes. So if I don't have another client after them, I'm okay with the extra time and you not having to pay for that extra time, because I feel like it's my duty and it's my job. And especially when you're coming to me with real issues and real problems, real grief. I had a client the other day that I was talking to. She was a new client to me, and we were talking. And so I just kept feeling chaos. And I was like, usually if I've had a client before, I can tap in pretty quick, because we have that familiarity with each other. But with my new clients, it takes me a little bit, kind of talk to them, feel their energy or whatever. But for this particular client, I was like, own it. I was like, gosh, there's so much chaos. And so I told her, I said, I'm feeling so much chaos and a breakup and a relationship, and just kind of go through everything. And as we were getting into it good, I noticed that she was quiet. So sometimes when they're quiet, I'm like, okay, like, what am I stirring up? What's going on? And she had shared with me that a couple of days before, she reached out to me. She said, I had a glass of wine and some pills and I was getting ready to end it all. She said, because I didn't feel like it was worth it. And she said, my friend had told me that I needed to reach out to you. And I chose to reach out to you. And by the time we were done, she was smiling. She was happy. She knew that there was more to her life than just this season that we're in. So at any time, I can be a psychic. I can be a medium. I could be the social worker. I could be your Medicaid worker, like housing worker, because I have all of that stuff under my belt. So it truly is whatever that particular person needs. And I think that that's the reason why there's a comfort. One thing that I find funny is, like, for some of my white clients, especially when they come and they want to tap into their ancestors, sometimes their ancestors with me are a little bit standoffish. And I tell them it's going to take a process, because were they racist? I mean, I asked them straight out, did they even like Black people? Because here you are, you got this Black girl trying to call them over to this side, and they might not be feeling it, just being honest with them. And even in situations of resistance like that, I think once they see, and I don't know what it is they see from the other side, but something they see that realizes, okay, I might not like Black people, but this Black girl is all right. So I'm gonna go ahead and come forward and give, a little bit of information. So I'm always real with my clients. It's a safe space. I say it's nothing that you could tell me that I'm gonna be fazed by. And that's like for real, because I was a case manager in the emergency room. So
you've seen it all, done it all.
Anything. Exactly. And so I think that's what it is, honey. It's just the level of comfort. And they trust me. And that, above everything else, I appreciate, because I don't say anything about any of the readers or how they do it or whatever their process is. I can only speak on my own. And these are the things that I do to prepare for each client. And I think they appreciate that. And a lot of them really, really appreciate the fact that I know about church. You know what I mean? And I have that background too. So they're like, okay, well, this is not bad. And, I have to give the spiel. You're not going to hell. This is not these bad things that you've been taught are not going to happen. You know, you listen to prophetess so-and-so and y'all paying prophetess so-and-so all that money, and she not even telling you the right thing. And you come to me and right off the bat, let you know exactly what it is. So what's the difference? Is prophetess so-and-so going to hell? So why is Myra going to hell for doing the exact same thing?
Ooh, you just put down so much because
as they do.
Yes. And that right this moment, we're at midpoint. So we are, you are just giving me all the feels. We're going at our midpoint that we're going to do our artist of the week. Hey, Miss Sunshine. You got to put your mic on, babe.
My bad.
There you go.
Is outside, so I'm hoping y'all don't hear them right now.
You are good.
Well, thank you for that. I appreciate you for that information because I definitely felt like that with the numbers. That was me commenting about the address.
Yes.
Yeah, I definitely did that. And because as soon as I saw the birds, I was like, wow. I said, wait a minute, I remember this. I remember this from my great grandmother. I remember this. They were all people who were intuitive. And as a young one, I would do the same thing. So look at this. This was perfect. She was right when we was backstage.
It was everything we needed because we had this conversation coming into it. It's about that intuitiveness and that knowing and what that looks like and how you tap in from a child on and the things that you see and the things that you know, especially in church. I press on this because there's so many things where you will have people hear the name hoodoo, which is very different than voodoo, and that hoodoo is so much indoctrinated into the church, and it was a part of it, and that was our way of dealing with everyday things. People would come to this woman like a Miss Myra, bring you some eggs and say, tell me how to move and get what you needed, and it'd be normal practice. And this would be a God-fearing woman who sat there, maybe one of the women of the church, who would come and give you what you needed and the knowledge or the herbs or the whichever you needed in that moment. That this is part of our culture. That's right. And nothing to be afraid of, and that you really know what it is. You just didn't hear it called that way.
That's right.
Yeah, so Ms. Myra, you're hitting all the notes.
Before we go any further, these brothers let me know that they are also out of North Carolina. So this is definitely going to be a treat. I really enjoyed this. This is NEMG for our Blast Artist of the Day with Mellow.
Man, got a brother out here in Raleigh, man. Shout out to that brother Sky High Fresh. Y'all know what it is. Well, my mama called me Marty and my grandma called me son. I'm just a brother on the mic device, on to get it done. Hold it down like Reverend Run when he raising up his seeds. A brother got a heart full of love and free of greed. Get the work done through the Son, a chosen one. Through him we all begun, through him we all become. Some of all blessings through the words of all lessons. My mind is a weapon that I use with discretion, not for your impression. See, I dealt with my depressions through the scriptures of Yah. When you see me, you are seeing a better version, Jamar. Just a man, Dr. Righteousness, no fear of no viruses. The blood of Christ on my life is truly what I'm writing with. Killing demons, interceding, Holy Spirit leading to positions that I'm leading when I'm feeding the flock. Just a servant out here working while I'm touching the block. Souls thirsty and they hungry, you gon' feed them or not? Or try to scram for the gram as you lie for the props. I can look in your eyes and see the soul of an eye. That mellow, yeah. I'm an educated son of the only true son. Elohim representing, it's only just begun. Linked up with my brothers, now we brighter than the sun in the solar system. Now my brother's spitting what he is, representing with my kids and my weirds on the earth. Every single second on this turf is home birth. I mean, home turf, homie, gives a birth a blessing. Hope you rewind that so you can get the lesson.
See, my uncle called me Shiny and my mama called me Son. I'm known for making beats and flipping rhythms on the drums. Mix the hi-hat with the snares, yeah, that's my native tongue. Then I mix that with the spirit of God and I become one of one. Excalibur, slicing up the ways of the evil one. Remember when we used to go to Eastland just to pick up something? Shooting my shot at any culture like I'm feeble, son. Not realizing the enemy had me feeble, son. And my mindset mindset, mind gone. At that time, NETI song was my theme song. Rubber band, man. Yeah, that was my motivation. Top back on 24s, that was the correlation. Until God touched my soul and gave me separation. Yeah, in the word of God, I found my declarations. I started speaking that word, found my levitation. On anything that's negative, found my elevation.
I'm an educated son of the only true son. Elohim representing, it's only just begun. Linked up with my brothers, now we brighter than the sun in the solar system. Now my brother's spitting what he is, representing with my kids and my whiz on the earth. Every single second on this turf is home birth. I mean, home turf, homie, is a birth of blessing. Hope you rewind that so you can get the lesson.
And that was NEMG with Mellow. If you too would like to be a blast artist and have your music listened to by thousands of people, you can run over to blastmusic247.com and choose the freemium account. You know, it's all free. Create your stage, upcoming artists, that's live bands, that's comedians, spoken word artists, rappers, singers, you name it. Run on over to blastmusic247.com. And also, it's for the fans. So if you want to hear more music like that, you run over and get you a free account as well. And you can listen to NEMG and plenty of other artists that we have on our platform. We are changing the industry one artist at a time.
Thank you. That was amazing. It's such
North Carolina representing.
Yes. I'm sitting there, I'm like getting the chills. I'm like, yes, you are. Yes, you are. So, and I feel like that song was so fitting. So if you guys are just joining us, this is According to Courtney. We come in at 10 o'clock a.m. every Saturday, giving some knowledge and gaining some too. Today we have Miss Intuitive Myra here, who has just been giving us all the feels about walking in purpose and what that has meant to her in her life, and able to allow people to see what is around them and really taking it in. Miss Myra, I was just thinking while we were listening to our song of the week, it's just, you know, that beauty of knowing self. Mm-hmm. The son of the sun. I'm the son of the Most High, and what that really means to people. And it really made me think about, in my line of work, working with birth workers, being a nurse, healers. And most of the time we always hear, who heals the healers? And how do we heal ourselves? So I feel like if anyone to ask, you would be a great person to ask to that, because many a time we may have intuition for everyone else, but have none for ourselves.
And that's so true. And a lot of my clients ask me that, like, you're here for me for everything, but who do you go to? And I do have, you know, like close friends that I go to. At one point in time, I was doing therapy. I found a therapist that understood what it was that I did. I said I didn't want to be talking to somebody that's going to have me on some medication or something, because I'm talking about sin and talking to dead people, right. You know. I like to ground myself near the water. And if I can't get close to the water, near the water, I like to walk out in the rain. Even if it's something as simple as taking a nice hot bath or shower, water is what clears my space. Mm-hmm. I talk to my mom. Like, my mom, honey, is my conscience. She's my heart outside my body and my safe place. Mm-hmm. And no matter what craziness I come up with, she might give me those mama eyes, but you know, she's always there and looking to support me in any way that she can. And the one thing, Courtney, that me being on this journey has done above all else is not only have I been working on healing myself, but it's healing some of the things that my mom didn't even know that she needed healing in, and helping her to kind of step into a new season too, even as she's starting to getting ready to be 80 years old. And it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful for me to be the teacher like she was for me, to get her to put herself first. Because, for you guys being in the medical field, a nurse or whatever, it's hard for you sometimes to give yourself that care and attention that you need, because you're so used to giving it to everybody else. And so it's just really, really been a blessing for me to be on the journey that I'm on, in order to kind of pour into her and get her to see a different perspective of things. So it's very, very important for you to find your way to reconnect in whatever way that is. Sometimes it's making jewelry. I started making jewelry out of nowhere. I didn't know nothing about making jewelry, number one. Number two, I don't have the patience for it. So I thought, but I found out that I do have the patience for making jewelry, and I've been making jewelry. And you just find different things that work for you. Music is everything for me. I mean, I listen to everything, every genre. I'm just a music person. That's also something that helps. And also too, I listen to music during my sessions, whether we're video, over the phone, in person. And I always explain to my clients, I listen to music. I drink tea or I drink water during my sessions, because the one thing that I learned from a fellow reader was you got to keep all your senses open. So that's the reason why I drink water or tea or something, and listen to music stuff during my sessions, just to make sure that I'm completely open to receive whatever it is that they need to receive. So it's very, very important that we take care of ourselves. I'll shut the operation down. Like whatever I need to do for myself, I do it. Before, it was hard for me to do it because I was always worried about, I got to show up for Courtney. I got to show up for this person. I got to show up for that person. But my cup was empty. Like I didn't have anything to give, myself. And so I was like, this is not what we're doing. We're not teaching these people how to take care of themselves, and then we're not doing it either. So yeah, so I always put myself first now, always. If that means turning down a client, I'm not the person for you, whatever it is. Because like I said, thankfully, it's not just about making money. It's just about me being in my purpose. And, you have to realize you don't align with everybody. I had this one woman come to me. She wanted me to do a spell on her ex-husband because that's who, she says she's supposed to be with or whatever. And I was like, no, ma'am, because that's messing with his free will. And then something happens and then he kills you or something goes wrong. I said, I don't do stuff to mess with people's free will, because at the end of the day, free will is free will. Whatever's going to be is going to be. And sometimes we just have to face that fact and let things play out the way they're playing out, even if we don't agree with it.
Ooh, you're giving me all the feels. I feel like you called me out 15 times in that one session, and I'm so good with it because it's so true. I feel like in the medical field, and also for Black women, we were always told that you are to give, you're not allowed to, and that being a martyr is normal. And it's not, especially for Black women in birth work or healthcare work. You're to give and give and give. And it doesn't matter if your cup is empty, cracked, and full of dust.
That's
you are
right.
supposed to give and give and give. And that when you don't, you feel like you have some imposter syndrome, that you're well, I have to do this. If I don't do this, who will I be? Who will I not be? And I can say I learned that in birth work. I was taking any and everyone, and I had to show up working 4 12-hour night shifts, plus doing speaking engagements, plus being here because I had to pour into everyone else. Realize I'm cracking my cup. And that how can I authentically give what is guided for me to give if I have nothing to give? And what does that look like? And that spirit will knock you. It will knock you upside your head and be like, oh, okay. I keep trying to tell you nicely, but you hard-headed. So let me show you.
Yeah. Let me make sure that you understand the message.
What? Listen, I have realized I've been knocked upside my head a few times in recent life to be able to say, no, I'm so sorry. I cannot do that for you.
Yeah.
No, I'm so sorry. I need to refill my cup and I will take on what it is. And what the beauty of that is for being a healer, being an intuitive person, be like, you know what? Everybody is not for me.
That's right.
I can't do everything for you, and say it with love and not in a cruel way. Just like, you know what? I hear what you're saying, and I think that someone else will align better for your journey. This was my part in it, to pass the torch on, to be like, not me, not today, not today.
And I've even had people say, well, I'll pay you this amount of money, this, that, and other. No. If it doesn't sit right, and if spirit says no, cancel the appointment, or no, don't do it, then I won't do it. I don't care how much money you're offering me. I'm not going to do it. I have to be true to myself. I have to be true to myself.
Ooh, that's so important. That's like everything ain't meant for you. And money, because I feel like a lot of times when you hear people use the word psychics or mediums, it can be taken in that negative connotation of it. It's like it's a money grab, it's a money grab, it's a grab versus being intuitive, like I'm just listening to you and listening to what source has for you. That gives you a so much different kind of freedom of, no, it's okay. No, if I'm meant for you, I'll be here. If it's meant for us to do this, we'll do it.
And it's so funny when you were talking about the money aspect of it, because I would be lying if I said some days I didn't need that money. And when that bill is looming, you know, and I only got part of it, that would be a lie. But when you listen to your intuition and you do what it is that you're supposed to do, or you know that you're supposed to do, it comes back. So anytime that I say no to this person, or no, I can't, perform those services or whatever it is, no matter how much the money is. At first I didn't understand. I'd be like, oh, but I could really, really use that. I saw this bag I wanted, or, oh, this bill needs to be paid, or whatever the case may be. But in those moments, I learned that trust the process, and I always get it back threefold and then some, so I don't worry about anything. I, honest to God, don't worry about anything anymore, because I trust the process of it. And if spirit, intuition, whatever tells me not to do something, then I don't do it. And another thing, you said something important too, saying no. I tell my clients all the time, especially my female clients, no is a complete sentence. Yes. You don't have to give a dissertation about why you don't feel like it or why you don't want to do it. No. And they're going to be looking at you like, okay, where's the rest of it? And I just sit there like, no, I'm not going to do it. And it's okay. We don't have to feel like we have to take care of everything and everybody. I don't care if you've done it for your whole life. It's never too late for you to change the narrative for yourself, because at the end of the day, that's what matters. You can't do anything for anybody else until you got yourself together and you're taking care of yourself and showing up for you the way you're doing for everybody else. It's not going to work.
Yes. Oh, yes. And I know this all to be true, because you and I had talked before about even talking about going into this and doing this show today, that we talked about that, and it resonated with me when you said, Courtney, no is a complete sentence. And how that resonated to me, that I was put in a situation where I had to make a choice. If I was going to move forward to something that could be harmful for the name of the money, and this is what the thought of for a career path, that this is what people are supposed to do, or to listen to my intuition, and the whole way to work is just getting downloads. And I kept hearing your voice saying, no is a full sentence.
It's a full and complete sentence.
Complete sentence. And then it's with the power that gives the person to be like, and I was able to go into something that was, corporate, and say, you know what? No, thank you. No, thank you. And it was the first time in my life that I was just like, no, second time. And then very recently that I was like, I don't care if it's here and it's not time for me to perform, or I'm tired for me to do, that this is not what is aligning with me. So I'm going to say, no, I'm good.
That's right.
You. No, thank you. And
but the beautiful thing about it, and I didn't mean to cut you off, but the beautiful thing about that, and you and I will keep in touch, watch and see how things are going to come together.
Yes.
We're going to be like, girl, you remember when? Girl, let me tell you, you'll see. I promise you. And that's another thing too, that my clients know. I'm not just telling you something just to blow smoke up your butt.
Right.
I'm telling you stuff because I know firsthand, because this journey has not been easy for me to unlearn the ways that I was harming myself by being a people pleaser. It hasn't been easy for me to get to this point where I can say, no, I don't want to do that. You know, this is what my thought process is. This is how I feel. Because before I'd be like, oh, well, I better not say that, even though you hurt my feelings or whatever the case may be, because I don't want to hurt your feelings. But now you don't care that what you did to me or how my feelings was hurt, you know. But now, honey, I speak my truth. My throat chakra is open. And I say what I need to say in a respectful way. You know, I'm not nasty or anything, but I leave no crumbs, and take it how you want to. What other people think about me is none of my business.
Oh, I think what you just said was the perfect end off of be off of all things. It don't matter what other people think about me. It's what I think about me. And what resonates with me. And you're so right. And I will say things have opened up in 1 week's time of walking out of one door that was supposed to be the door of all doors, and listening to self, moving in spirit, and being authentically back to being who I am. The doors that it has opened already of just like, hey, I'm here. I'm moving in purpose, and whatever's supposed to happen will happen. And to feel good about it and to not be fearful. And that is what it truly is. Walking in purpose is like, God got me.
Yep.
Spirit got me. Ancestor got me. I'm not worried about it. You're not
no
scared.
Ifs, ands, or buts.
Not at all. Not at all. This bill is due. It'll get paid. And then it'll come forth tenfold. I'm not worried about it. I ain't going to stress it. Because I know that I am loved, covered, and blessed.
That's right.
And that's it. Nothing more.
Like the song said, I think it was the Winans, BB and CC Winans, ain't no need in worrying what the night is going to bring. It'll be all over in the morning.
Yes. Oh, yes, absolutely. And it will be all over in the morning. It'll be a brand new day for us to live through. And I just, I'm so thankful to have you in space with us today. Ms. Myra, you always welcome. You ever want to hop on this podcast, we are always welcome to have you and your energy and you sharing space with us. And then to be able to be open to everybody who's watching to just give a part of yourself. So I thank you for trusting me to have you in this space and know that you just here to just give you your flowers. That's really what this was about for me. It's like, I want Miss Myra to know that she's amazing and to give her flowers. I've heard about Miss Myra for a long time up into this from great people who work in Blast, who just love and admire you. And I was like, I need to talk to this woman. You talk about her all the time. I need to see who this person is. And I just thank you for just being willing and open to doing this.
Well, I appreciate you allowing me to be here, and I appreciate us sharing space in this girl power and love, and also too just being able to speak what my truth is. Everybody's truth might not be the same, but hopefully this will encourage somebody. This will make somebody step outside of their comfort zone and be different. You know, stop going against the grain. Like, if it's something that God or Spirit has put on your heart to do, no matter how crazy it sounds, no matter what it look like right now, do it, because He gives us these ideas and these things to do for a reason. He's not going to drop that idea in your head for you to do what you did, and He don't have your back and got you covered. You know what I mean? So everybody stay encouraged, trust yourself, and trust your intuition. The sky's the limit. We have to tap into ourselves.
Yes, we do. Tapping into self is the biggest connection that you have with God, Holy Spirit, Creator, whatever you call it. To tap into self so you can go right to it, because you are
That's right.
And having that source, you've given such joy today, and I hope that everyone out there, you feel loved, you feel seen, you feel appreciated, and feel heard, because you matter. And thank you, Miss Myra, for reminding all of us that we matter.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, everyone, I leave you nothing but blessings and good vibes. And as we wrap up today on According to Courtney. So until next week, know you're loved, you're seen, and you're heard. And I thank you for your time. And I thank you for being in the space with us. You guys all have a great day. Take care now. Bye, guys.